All right, everybody, welcome to Deciphering the Code. My name is Allan Thompson. I'll be your instructor for this. I have been doing this type of stuff for quite a while. This is my second time doing this kind of workshop. If you were in the last time I did this workshop, it has changed. You will see different things, and you will see some things omitted that you may have learned from last time. All right, so let's get right into it. Here's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be discussing foot spacing, level changes, lines and shapes, capturing space, sight lines, weapon rhythms, weapon path, and emotional link. We're going to go into details over this. When we stop at a particular area, I'm going to go on a little bit of a diatribe on what it is with that particular topic, and then I may bring some people or ask people from the audience to come up and participate so I can show you some execution of the techniques. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at a fight where I've picked and chosen a fight that will display one of these pieces. What you will see is that in some of the later fights, you may find that it's missing some of these elements. That may be helpful. I will tell you that when it comes to all of this stuff, it's really going to depend, if you're a fight choreographer, on the physical capabilities of the person that you're working with. Because some of it can be very challenging physically, or it can be very challenging athletically. So you have to know who you're working with and what you can ask them to do. If you have somebody that has superior athleticism, you can probably ask them to do most of these things. If you have amazing actors, emotional link is very easy for them, so forth and so on. All right, any questions before we begin? No? Let's get to it. All right, so here I am. I live here in Gainesville. I'm a father to 4. I've been doing this for 30 years. I fought in every chessboard in Florida except for 2. So I fought in Hogtown, Orlando, Miami, Fort Myers, Tallahassee, Space Coast. I fought in many, many chessboards. I've been a head fight choreographer 8 times. I've been an assistant, I think, 6. I've been a fight choreographer on stage shows. I have 7 stage shows under my name. I have 2 short films and 1 movie that has my name on the credit on it. And I've consulted with various other things. A lot of the people that are here today I've done training with, where they've been in my classes and I've trained them in sword and other stuff, and theater and stage combat. My training background, I come from the Society of American Fight Directors. I've trained under Johnny Cashman and Professor Tiza. I've also worked with Phil Yeager from the Canadian Fight Directors and the British Academy of Fighting. So I've been doing this for a while. I enjoy it, and it's a passion of mine that I don't think will ever end. All right, any questions? Awesome, so let's get to it. Foot spacing establishes balance, allows torso lean, and creates realism. And we're going to have a fight. So foot spacing, whenever you're working with fighters, one of the things I recommend that you do is, first thing as they're moving, is to look at their feet. If the feet doesn't match what the torsos are doing above, then there's a problem. Now, a lot of times we teach folks to all have the same foot spacing when they fight, and when on a chessboard, you'll have a knight and a peasant who have the exact same foot spacing and the exact same movement. And the peasant looks just as good at fighting as the knight, which can really throw off what you're trying to do there. Foot spacing is a way that you can correct that sometimes. If you have somebody with high level of skill that you're trying to portray on board and you need a fighter to do that, watch their feet, and if their feet are staying very close to shoulder width when they fight, ask them to expand their foot spacing a little more. There's a couple of reasons for that. When my foot spacing is shoulder width, my torso lean comes about this far. My reach and my ability to attack is shortened dramatically. So I can't create length and I can't reach space. When I step really wide, now my torso lean becomes very large and I can capture space and I can create length. All right? And there's times in a fight when you can change the foot spacing depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Another thing you can do to create levels, if someone's being choked, Brandon, may I borrow you for sure? All right. So me and Brandon are going to do a technique called a reverse choke. So this is one you can steal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choke myself as hard as I can. Brandon's going to do everything to get my arms off of me. And this is going to show tension. So when I say go, I want you to try and remove my arms from me. Ready, go. Take them away. Pull them. So that's called a reverse choke. It's a very safe technique, but it creates amazing tension. He turns red, I turn red, but neither one of us are hurting each other. Now, a couple of things with foot spacing on this particular choke. When he's choking me, I can go wide if I'm an experienced fighter. Because this shows that I know that I can get out of this, I have balance, I've learned to fight. If I'm trying to portray that I'm not an experienced fighter, my feet would come close together, because this is how panic happens when I don't know what I'm doing. Okay? Any questions? Foot spacing? No? Let's watch a fight. The Wi-Fi here sucks. If you look at their foot spacing in here, whenever they're attacking, how wide their feet are, and you see the torso lean that's occurring when they fight. So these are realistic saber fighters. So one of the things they're trying to do is use reach. And to create that reach, they have to have wide foot spacing. And if you notice, when they're doing their attacks, they're doing torso leaning in to try and hit, and torso lean back to defend. And this is one way with foot spacing that for your audience is that you can create a little bit more realism and a sense of tension, giving and taking away. Any comments on this? Yeah? How many of you in here have actually done any type of HEMA or saber fighting for real? TJ has, Miranda a little bit. I have. I've done some HEMA. One of the things they teach a lot of is lunging on your attacks and trying to use your torso and use your reach and get out of reach. So this is something that you can take and think about whenever you're watching fights. Look at the foot spacing. Determine if they've got enough torso lean, because as theater people, we want to move through space as much as possible.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You're comparing the knight to the peasant.
Yeah.
What do you feel portrays each of those best regarding their foot spacing? Like if I just took a knight, but he was just a guy in a black spandex bodysuit,
Yeah.
peasant, he was in a black spandex like Marceau bodysuit,
Yeah.
and I wanted the audience to know that that guy's a knight and that guy's a peasant, what would their foot spacing be like?
So I'll answer this in the simplest way. Whenever you audition people, and you see martial artists and people who've never fought before, the people that never fought before, their foot spacing is going to be very, very shallow. They're going to fight like this. They're going to stand. They're going to do what's called butt attacks, where their butt goes out when they attack, like that, and their feet don't space. When you see a martial artist or somebody who's done any type of fighting, what do? They drop into a low fighting stance. They widen their feet. They try and get their face big. So a knight character, a trained fighter, if that's what you're trying to portray, he's going to have wider foot spacing. Your peasants are generally going to have shallower foot spacing, because they're very unsure about their feet, and they don't think about bending their knees or creating a low center of gravity or anything like that. It's a great question. Anything else? Questions? Comments? Cheap shots?
Now that you're respecting that.
Yeah.
All right, so level changes add layers and textures to spice up the fight. What is a level change? So when you're in a fighting space, you've looked at your fighters, they're paired up, you've gotten their foot spacing how you want them, they've started working on a fight. One of the things you can do to add a lot of textures and layers to a fight is look at how much they're changing in their space. One of it can be going to a knee, one of it can be going to a stomach, one of it can be bringing the feet together for a high attack, one can be a jump attack, one can be jumping off of something, but anything where they can change levels in a fight. For example, Caleb. We're going to do some basic fake choreography with swords we do not have. All right? So Caleb is going to back up a little bit, and don't trip over that chair. Sorry. Move that out of the way. So Caleb will attack my 4, right? And I'm going to pass back when he does. I'm going to parry. And now I'm going to pass forward, and I'm going to attack Caleb's 2. So he passes back, and I'm going to attack his 2. Okay. Now, all we're going to do is just add a simple level change on both ones. Caleb this time is going to jump, cut at my 4, and I'm going to drop to a knee and cut at his 2. That's simple. All right, you ready? Just that little spice and texture adds a little bit of element and something a little bit different. Any questions? Now, once again, level changes are really going to be dependent on how good people's conditioning and their athleticism is. Because you're going to have people with bad knees, they can't bend a lot, they can't drop down to a knee, but if you have people that have good knees, they're very athletic, you should try and make them change levels as much as possible. Rolling, jumping, diving off of stuff, it really adds a lot to a fight. It gives a really good, beautiful texture. Do you guys use a lot of level changes whenever you do stuff?
Hell yes.
Yep.
Yeah, tell me about that.
It's 3 dimensions. We are moving into 3-dimensional space, and the audience, I think, will get bored if you just have 2 prim and proper people. Prim and proper people. Nice. Just standing there, you know. But if there's rolls and jumps, and I'm going to kick high and they kick low, or I have to jump, you know, and they're going low, yeah, I love the dynamism.
Dynamism.
Dynamism, thank you. The dynamism of it, as opposed to just going back and forth and offline, but also going up, down as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, just simple jump. We have one guy, Scott Scooter. All his fights are jump attacks. It cracks me up. Every single fight's like, ha ha, ha
Because he's vertically challenged though too.
Yes,
so.
he's shorter. Yeah. But his fights are really interesting. The crowds love it because he literally jumps on every attack.
It's also boring, so of course it's a lower row.
Yeah, so highly recommend that. So now we're going to watch a level change fight. This one is a really good one in my opinion that really showcases level changing. And then we're going to discuss it.
Are we actually going to watch it or look at the thumbnail again?
And no, we're going to watch it.
You get to look at his butt.
Butt nail. It's nothing else.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to follow this dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
By the end of this weekend, we'll all be doing that.
Yes.
One more time. See all the level changes there, right?
It helps when they weigh half an ounce.
Yeah.
The
Tell that to
fighters
somebody
are
else.
Yes.
Yes.
That's not really this.
Those are full moves.
That's not a will fight.
So from the class, what did you guys
Yeah.
like about this?
It's
The
been touched.
You like the speed,
Jump spins.
the jump spins, nice.
Except for one gratuitous roll for the sake of a roll.
Yeah.
There was reason for the level changes. They
Yeah.
weren't changes for the sake of changes.
Good eye, by the way. I caught that too. I was like, yeah, why wasn't it? But
Like in
Gratuitous.
if
like
you
the
see
kicks.
in theater, you get the same level changes, but zoning on front and back of the stage. The further up you are, the more interesting it can make a scene, like a tableau. So you kind of had this in a grid here too, which made it more visually interesting because there was depth to the fight.
I like that. What else? What else?
Circular arm work.
Say that again.
Circular arm work. So everything is, even with their guards and their defensive blades are constantly moving, so it gives you enough action to pull the audience's eye to the different moves and different guards and positions.
So a question: do you think this fight would have looked different had they not done any level changes?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Editing makes a big difference.
Like, there's a lot of cuts that we don't get.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we only have 1, 2, 3.
And I think on this guy, the particular camera guy, did they have cuts in this one?
They did.
Yeah.
They were slight, but they were.
They're. I don't know if you noticed this as well, but their swords are foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
sped
that's
up.
different.
No.
A lot of what these fight guys do, and by the way, this is a business that you guys can get into as well, is they invent fights like this in a studio and they sell them to movies and short films and stuff like that. There's a lot of business that does that now. Where it used to be a fight choreographer would come on set and then the fight choreographer would teach actors and everything like that. They don't do that anymore. Like the Captain America Winter Soldier, that was done in a studio that was sold to Marvel. And then Marvel's fight choreographer, whoever was on set, took that stuff and then taught it to their actors by watching the film and everything like that. So you can do that. If you have your own company, you can actually copyright a fight and make sure somebody doesn't take it from you. You can actually sell your fights, which is an interesting business model if you have an interest in that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of level changes. I like level changing at angles. I like having a lot of objects that you can launch off of. A really amazing level change, if you've never done it, we've done this in several times that I've been a fight choreographer, where we do a level change off a human being. We do that a lot, where someone will run and jump off someone's back, and the person will go up in the air and come down and attack. That's a very dramatic level change that you can have in the middle of a melee, when a melee's happening, and you see someone launched right in the middle coming down. That's a really good one. So yeah, I would say, think about level changes. Level changes versus foot spacing. Which do you think has a bigger impact on fights? Yes.
Yeah.
Just from a curious
Foot
factor.
spacing.
Foot
Well,
spacing?
yeah, I would say foot spacing, but when you say bigger impact
Yeah,
on the fight, impact for who? The audience?
sure.
I think
So I want to say the untrained audience member that's just sitting there going, I love turkey legs.
Level
They
spacing.
see somebody, wee!
Uh-huh.
I think foot spacing is something you need to be thinking about the entire fight, whereas level changes, if you only do it once during a fight and then forget about it, you still at least have that one level change that had an impact.
Yeah. Tim?
I feel like you can't have one without the other. If you don't have proper foot spacing, how the hell are you going to get down to a different level? And vice versa, how are you going to get up if you don't have proper foot spacing? Yeah, but now you're essentially just doing a body squat in the middle of a fight. I see your point, but again, when we're talking about foot spacing, we're talking about looking martial and trying to look like to sell the intent. No one's gonna think anything of you squatting and essentially taking a dump in the middle of the test room.
I bet you'll get reactions.
You'll get reactions, but it's not going to be the ones that you're hoping for.
Yeah.
A wide enough foot spacing is going to allow you for a more squat-like slide, essentially moving one side to the other, or like a strafe.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can't have level changes without foot spacing, but you also can't have foot spacing without.
Now, I have a
level
question for
change.
everyone. Does foot spacing create intensity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think it does that?
It shows the character to begin with, at least. And it's also like, it sets you up for technique as well, for whatever moves you throw at each other.
Yeah, it just naturally shows intensity, because like, even if you're watching like a jungle documentary, when an animal's about to attack, they hunch down. So you see someone ground themselves, which wider foot spacing shows they have more attack intent.
I would also say your foot spacing means my pointy metal object gets closer to your soft squishy bits.
Yes.
Right.
Danger and intensity.
I'd say
But
foot
when you're-
spacing
you're-
can create level changes just automatically.
Yes. Yeah, actually it can.
And plus, you're essentially winding up that rubber band, so it's like that momentum. You're locking everything in place. That momentum, that kinetic energy has to go somewhere.
With foot spacing, you are more physically engaged in the moment, into the fight. Like, if you're just standing there talking and maybe even arguing, that's one thing, but as soon as you change your foot spacing to be in position, now everyone can tell without a single word, that's about to be a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a little interesting thing. TJ, can I borrow?
Like
So-
make noises whenever I.
Me and TJ, he's gonna back up, we both have swords. We're shoulder width apart. We're gonna build intensity for you guys, and the simple way that we're gonna do it is we're gonna go as wide foot spacing as we can while staring at each other intently. That's it.
Do you need to leave for this, or?
You ready?
I need an adult. You see like how we were kind of crouching and getting lowered? So creating the speed at which you use foot spacing can matter as well, especially if you're trying to create something theatrical. Us, we may start far away, and then as we're getting closer, we may start getting lower and lower to ground to show that we're about to spring. And that builds intensity. So yeah, the rate. Now, you can also reverse it and go, well, what if we just jumped into it really fast? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Comedy! Hey, comedy worked really well. So yes. So the reverse of that is be like, ah! That could be more comedic. Yes. So that's to show you how the speed at which you choose foot spacing can matter as well. All right? All right. Thank you.
this one's pretty simple. Humans are pattern-seeking creatures. Creating lines and shapes captures the mind. What does that mean? Can I get two foam, or not foam, the weapons that we have made of the crap?
You want two swords?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Everybody here knew exactly what
Crap
it was.
swords.
Rolls off
Just
the
get the
tongue.
crap
Yeah,
swords.
polypropylene.
Get those crap swords.
Yeah.
We'll take those instead.
Two swords, and that's what I brought you.
Can I get those two safe fake swords? There you go.
They're
Yeah.
safe.
And that's what I did.
All right, AJ. All right. So humans are pattern-seeking creatures. We look for patterns in everything in life, whether it's in clumps and groups or shapes and beauty or whatever, we look for it. So creating lines and shapes can be very important. One of the things that is taught in SAFD and a lot of you teach is casting or extension, depending on where you're from. And the idea behind it is that my energy moves past my partner, and it doesn't move into my partner whenever I'm doing cuts. Everybody familiar with that concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so creating lines with our cuts and with our body and our placement can take something and elevate it to another level that is attractive to the human eye. All right. So AJ, go ahead and put your left foot forward for me, please. And come forward a little bit. There you go. All right, so I'm going to do a cut. Lean back. Awesome. You get front row blood. All right, you ready?
3D is amazing.
So I'm going to do a cut to AJ's 4. However, I'm not going to bother with using a good line. I'm just going to make sure that I'm casting until the energy goes past. Okay. All right. We're going to do it again, and we're going to speed up each time. And then we're going to do it again. Yeah. Ah! Okay. Now move that chair out of the way. Creating a line. So we're going to go slow again. With creating a line, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and straighten my arm as much as I can to create a beautiful line that points in the direction I'm going. And I'm going to try and use my other hand, my body, whatever I can to create shapes and lines. Okay? Now the difference is I created a line with my leg, I'm creating a line with my sword, and I'm trying to create a line with my hand. Now later on you're going to learn something about capturing space. But that's just creating a line. So I'll do it one more time. Here, now. All right. Any questions about creating a line? Do all of you create lines whenever you do cuts? Yeah. Another reason for creating lines is it shows intent. One of the things that can happen in stage combat, you can watch and you'll see, is when people fight, they think about the next move, so they only half commit to a cut because they're thinking about the next move. Whereas, I might do this cut and I'm thinking about this next move. So my first cut doesn't have a line to it at all. So what you have to get used to doing is using more wrist work. So when I'm doing this cut here, I can use my wrist more to start prepping my weapon so that I can flow into the next cut. Because what happens when you don't use lines is you're generally going to arm your weapon. You're going to use your arm, your shoulder, and everything like that to try and do your cuts, and your lines aren't going to stay true. I love watching this. All right. Any questions about lines? Same thing with thrusts. I'm sure you guys know show then go. I show my weapon, I extend. There's two different types of thrusts that I've taught, had taught, learned. One is what's called in distance offline. In distance offline is meaning if he didn't move, I'd stab him in the leg, but I'm thrusting to the outside. The other one is out of distance online, which is I'm thrusting to the target, but if he didn't move, I wouldn't hit that target. Okay. Same thing whenever you're doing your presentation on your thrust, is to just make sure you extend. The more you can extend that, the more shapes you can create with the rest of your body as well, especially lines. Any lines that you can create, human eye is going to get attracted to that. It's just in our nature. We love it. All right, thank you. Next we're going to talk about shapes. So whenever you're watching people fight and they're doing their stuff as fight choreographers, one of the things to look for is, are they creating lines when they fight? Do they have good wide foot spacing or short foot spacing? What's the speed at which they're moving their feet? Are they changing levels? Or is it just basic back and forth? Okay. Another thing is shapes. Shapes you can create with any part of your body. Shapes can be very distinctive with the feet. You can create a shape with your feet while executing wide foot spacing in a speed which you want. What does that look like? Okay. So if I start here and I'm about to start a fight and I do this, that's a shape I just created. All I did was draw a line with my foot, but it's interesting to look at. The audience is going to be instantly drawn to the shape you just created.
Well, yeah, because it's the golden ratio.
Yeah. You can make a triangle shape when you move before setting up a fight or during a fight, but shapes are very entertaining for people to watch. You can choose the speed, you can slide, you can step however you want to do it when you move, but when you move with your feet and you think about shapes, it changes everything. For most of the fighters that I've seen, most fighters when they fight rely on natural footwork, where they move what feels comfortable. But the one thing we have to remember is that we're artists. We are artists of movement. And so when we're performing, every part of our body is our art, including our feet. And so when we're moving and we're using our body and creating foot spacing, we want to think about every part of our body. A basic forecut from here, just thinking about the different things. I can go, what if I create a triangle, dip first, and then come up on my cut, where I do this and come up on my cut. Now that basic four just became a whole lot more interesting. Just by thinking about shapes, foot spacing, changing levels, that type of thing. Do any of you use shapes when you fight at all? You do? TJ, tell me about that.
I like box stepping. I don't know if you guys probably all know about this, but if I had like a Black Widow symbol, like a triangle in front of me and then another triangle going out, it can make a box. So I can be here and I can step to one corner and then to the center where the two triangles meet, and I can hop and then be here and come back. So there's ways to step offline and lunge, or like demi-vault almost.
That's nice.
So then there's like circular movements that
Yes.
you can do, so yeah.
You're brain.
I'm always kind of do the same thing TJ did. I'm always kind of working my offhand in the places where I don't have something else protected, like a dagger or sword. So if my guard is here, my hand is here. The soft bits that I need protected. If I'm here, my hand is here over my heart, over my neck if I've got something here. And the whole time I'm shifting and pivoting knees and ankles. But I'm always trying to use my hand as either a place for my soft bits, or I'm trying to keep it somewhere behind me and make it look almost like a trapeze-like balance beam. And when I put it out there like that, I try to paint pictures with my offhand so the audience has something else to look at. I just don't try to keep it out there like a board, essentially.
Wait, what's it on here? What do you mean paint pictures?
So instead of like, your offhand when you thrust in, you might, and just put your hand back,
Right.
paint a picture with it.
Okay.
Like paint
I'll
with your
flourish.
offhand.
Yeah.
Okay, great, I can flourish.
Yeah, Tim.
A lot of triangle steps in longsword,
Yes, there are.
so I do a lot of triangle steps.
Yeah.
Getting around guards, getting around to the other side of the person, etc.
Yeah.
In and out, yeah.
To advance your fights a little more, this is a great way to do it, is to have this kind of a worksheet. And when you create a fight, look at each of these stages that I've presented for you and go, what's my foot spacing?
Yeah.
Do I like my foot spacing?
Well,
Is it wide? Is it short? How is my foot spacing? Do I use the same foot spacing throughout the entire fight? If I do, that's boring. Is the direction my feet facing always the same? Because if it is, you're creating repetition, which audiences like to see different things. So think about that when you're creating shapes as well, is if I'm always like, this is how I fight when I attack, that can get very boring. And so just changing foot spacing on some things where you're like here, 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 and moving, just that little bit of movements and changes in foot spacing and stuff, and creating shapes on the way that you move, it can add a lot. All right, so we're going to watch a video on creating lines. This one, I also want you guys to look for and mentally take notes or write down notes on things that you think could improve the fight on what you've learned so far. You good? Okay.
family reunions.
All right. So first, let's talk about foot spacing. Who wants to go first? Brandon.
They kept precisely the same foot spacing for each entire segment.
Okay. TJ?
Yeah, the first, I don't know, third maybe, there didn't seem to be much foot spacing at all. The darkly clad gentleman screams, runs up, and then just sort of, they both. I noticed the gentleman in the brighter colors, yeah, he did tend to move a little bit. And later on in the fight, there was a spin and some movement, but for the most part, yeah, it was almost like the first, at least solid phrase was just
Standing there.
Yeah.
It's like they forgot about the footwork.
What were you saying?
It's like they forgot about the footwork and added it at the end.
They were just standing there,
Can I ask you a
I could
question?
have just said that too.
You
menacingly.
do it.
So could I ask you a
Just be
question?
honest.
Do you guys think that there are fight players that don't think about their footwork at all?
Yeah, I've forgotten about it.
I have to. Okay. Anything else you would add or change to what you saw? Yeah.
Really good soundtrack.
The taller guy didn't seem, to me at least, as engaged in the fight as
Yeah.
the shorter guy, because he was just on the same level the entire time and like kind of reacting here. Like, there
Well,
wasn't-
out of what you've learned, what would you change based
Um,
upon what you've learned so far?
sink into his stances a bit more, like
And how would you do that?
foot spacing.
Wider foot spacing. So you would have them use wider foot spacing when they fought.
Yeah, and maybe create some diagonals with their body instead of just the straight vertical.
In other words, you'd want to see different shapes being created instead of just flat back here. Okay, good. Yeah, Tim.
That first move is supposed to be this big, massive move, so make it big and massive. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of a higher level for that first opening strike. He
Yeah.
came in like this, like it was so benign. Like go in and like go overhead, get a little air, like really send that.
There was only one level change, and it was the guy in red at the end.
At the
like,
very end.
Doing that.
Yes.
They finally got one.
Like
Well,
he
then-
finally got underneath him and kind of gave him that strike. But yeah, like that first move, like that's supposed to be this big rage moment.
The dark
Show
clad
a little
gentleman could
rage.
spin.
Did it look like they could use a lot of torso lean, or they were restricted using torso lean when they fought?
In this case, a little restricted, I think.
Yeah, a little.
I would
down
say,
enough.
and I don't know if you guys agree with me, I think their foot spacing is what challenged
Yeah.
them to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
too close to each other.
Yeah, and because they got so close, they can't. Now, I want to say something. Oh, Brandon, come up. You can get close to someone and use wide foot spacing. Now, what does that look like? Well, if Brandon, watch that chair. If Brandon takes a giant step back into a giant fighting stance, go ahead and step back really far, and I step back really far, okay? We can't get close to each other because of the way we chose to space our feet. Now, what I want you to do is step forward so your feet are in line with each other, but the same length. Now we can fight, and we can fight close. And all I did was change where my feet were in relation to each other. We still have wide feet, so we can do big exchanges, okay? And we can sell that. If he's throwing an uppercut at my face and I want to lean out of the way, I have good torso lean. I can do that. Whereas if my feet are close and he's doing it, I really can't get a really good torso lean without jacking my back up. Okay? So wide foot spacing, those are some good things. Anything else that you guys saw?
It was very two-dimensional.
Very two-dimensional. Who said that? Elaborate.
It was all one line. What is it you call it, Brandon? 'Cause no, like when we different planes, different lines,
Moving off axis?
moving off axis.
Yeah.
That probably could have benefited.
I was thinking about adding more stuff to this, and I'm like, no, I need to keep it down. There's only so much I can add. But yes, moving offline is very important, and they moved straight forward, moved straight back. They fought very linear the entire fight. Now, you can have fights that are linear like that depending on what you're trying to accomplish with them. I will say, if you have 10 fights in a row on a chessboard and they all use linear fighting, it's going to look bad to the audience. In the same vein, if you have 10 fights that use the same type of angles when they move offline and fight, it's the same effect. Because if all your fights start looking alike, the audience will notice, and they won't be able to remember. Nothing stands out when everything looks the same. So there may be a time when you tell two fighters, I want you to start from the farthest part of the chessboard, drive the other person to the other angle, and then drive them back. And that's how I want your fight to be, because I need it to stand out. So there may be a reason that you do it linear, but for the most part, 100% correct. You don't want a lot of linear fights. It just doesn't work out well. Anything else about that fight? Yeah, so far what we've applied, I think it's pretty obvious. We could take a fight that we see, and it wasn't a bad fight, by no means. The audience was cheering, people were into it, they liked it, and I guarantee if you sat in that audience, they'd have been like, this is the greatest fight show ever. I don't know how many times I've heard that from audiences with every fight show I stand in. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to elevate fights. We're taking something that is already decent or good, and we're trying to elevate it to the next level. And that's what this class is about, is how do we elevate fights to the next level. It is a level change, yes. Capturing space adds volume to a fight making it bigger than life. Does anybody know what capturing space means? Anybody else know what capturing space is? Miranda, what's capturing space?
Well, it's sort of like what Brandon was talking about with painting. You have all the space left beyond. I knew how to say it, and then I didn't.
Anybody want to back Miranda up on what capturing space means? What you got?
Like utilizing the space you have and not just staying in one section of your board or your stage or whatever.
I got a question for you, follow-up question for everybody, especially advanced choreographers. Can you do that if your feet don't move? Yeah.
Yes, a little bit.
I can wave my hands a lot.
Yes, the answer is yes. Will it look good if you never move? Not, probably not.
I think it's more the control of the space you've chosen to be in.
Yeah.
Whether you're moving, not moving, it's control of the space.
Yeah. Tim, come here.
So I'm sorry, it's not to capture space like capturing a chess move. It's not to insert myself into your space.
It's not.
Okay.
Good. So,
Thank you.
if I give you the floor, and I say get a wide stance, this part of you right here has a red dot on it.
Okay.
This part of you has a red dot. That, and your hips. All of those have red dots.
Okay.
There's a box around you there, and there's only so far you can go, right? What I want you to do is take all of those dots, and it's going to get a little crazy for you. Like, try and touch as much space around you with all of your points as you can. Can you go bigger? Probably. Good. Capture it bigger. Yeah. Good. Thank you. So capturing space is when I move, defend, or anything. Ashley, come here. I'm going to start, and I'm going to make the choice of shallow foot spacing first. Ashley, back up a little bit. When Ashley attacks me, first I'm going to do a reaction on a punch. I'm going to do a clap nap. Meaning I'm going to clap nap like this when I take the punch. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do on this movement is I'm going to try and capture as much space as possible. The red points are all over my body. I might slap some of you, and I apologize for how much space I'm about to capture. Great. Oh! All right, that's capturing space. I'm capturing as much space as possible with my body. Can you guys think of an actor who is Asian who's amazing at capturing space? Jackie Chan. You can put Jackie Chan in a box, and every part of his body, without him taking steps, will hit everything. Also, the stunt people he works with. When they take a hit, it looks like they got hit with an M60. Because they're capturing so much space when they're taking hits.
I thought you meant the stunt guys would also have the red.
Yeah. So one of the things to think about whenever you're doing an armed or movement, sword work, anything, is am I capturing space or am I crowding inside when I fight? Am I crowding and am I tight when I fight and I'm not capturing space? Or am I capturing the space I want to capture when I move? Bigger than life. Am I trying to make it as big? Because our audiences aren't right here. They're way back. And that big movement, especially when it's done fast, looks incredible. Yeah.
So capturing space would kind of be like pantomime, where you have to be like big and over exaggerated with everything.
Yes. It's a choice that you make. I wouldn't say to do it every single move that you have, unless you're doing a comedic fight.
Yeah.
So to one of your questions tomorrow, that's how you make comedy. Pantomime a little bit. But yes, it is kind of pantomime. But the idea behind it, whenever you're capturing space, when you're taking hits, moving, defending, or anything like that, is you're trying to fill up a volume. And the more volume you can take and the more volume you can own, the more you will stand out in your fights. Okay? So everybody, let's see, who can give me one thing that's not capturing space that we've talked about so far?
Foot spacing.
Foot spacing. Another?
Changing levels.
Changing levels.
Making shapes.
Making shapes and lines. Is that everything?
What was the term you just used for the opposite of capturing space?
Crowding?
Crowding yourself.
Crowding, thank you.
Yeah, when you're crowding in. Now, is there a time and a place where capturing space doesn't work as well? Yes, when you're making movies and film. When I've made movies and film, you can't have big movements. And some of the cuts that you think will work on film don't. There's actually a head cut you have to do in film where you literally, when you do the head cut, you have to do it like this. I'm not exaggerating. It's the only thing that looks good on film. Everything else, the camera picks up on the miss easy. You have to cut low and then rainbow at the end and bring it back down to make the head cut look good. It's just a weird thing in film.
So weird.
Yeah.
No one would ever do that.
And in film, you don't have to capture space as much, but in what we do, you're going to have to try and get your people to capture space. And some of what you may have to tell them to do is, you may have to point out body parts to them to make them do that, and you may have to tell them where to place the body part. Okay. What's your name?
Gerald.
Gerald. All right, Gerald, come on up. All right, Gerald, step forward. All right, you're going to be with your left foot forward. Okay. All right, so Gerald, I'm going to do a cross punch, and all I want you to do is do a small react, nothing big. Okay, ready? All right. Now, if I'm working with Gerald, I'm going to have to point out body parts. Jera? Sorry. I'm going to have to work with Jera and tell Jera what body parts I want him to move. Because here's where we make a mistake as a lot of fight choreographers, especially with first and year. You know, they take it, they do an underreact. They say, make it bigger. You think they know what make it bigger means? No, they have no fucking clue. It's their first time doing this, or second time. They're just trying to figure it out. What the f does making it bigger mean? So, as a fight choreographer, we have to pinpoint the body parts on the body that we want to move where we want them to move. Jera? So Jera, when you take this punch, I want you to take this foot. I want you to go ahead and practice a step back where this foot is with that foot. Good. All right, good. Now I want you to take this chin, and I want you to look back at me.
That chin.
And I want you to look down. Okay, good. Now I want this hand up here, like this. Okay. I want this hand out here like this. Got it? All right, get back to point. Go ahead and practice that for me. Good, bring it back. Do it again. All right, ready? And action. See the difference? Because I took body parts. I didn't tell him, make it big. What the hell does make it big mean? What I did is I pointed out the body parts where I wanted them to go and what would make it look like what I wanted it to do. When you manipulate the body parts on people and tell them where exactly you want them to be, it becomes much easier for your people. Because they're going to know exactly what you want, because you just showed them specifically. Specifics are very important to being able to show body mechanics and body acting to people. It's how we get them to the next level. Thank you. Yes. Big round of applause.
Woo! Gerard. Huzzah, Gerard.
Nobody else has applause, just
Yeah.
all right, so now we're going to watch a fight, seeing if they can capture space and make it bigger than life. This is a fight troupe that I like. There are some things they do that I don't like, but I think that they're very, very popular because they do capture space very, very well.
Yep.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Go.
That.
Oh, good.
All right.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah. So they're very, very popular, very well known. They're very good at creating a lot of space when they fight. As you notice, they use very wide foot spacing, very wide foot spacing. And when they're moving with all their leans in every direction possible. And when their hands are moving, their hands are out in front, being engaged, moving. They're capturing a ton of space. Yeah. Now I've got a hard question for you. What would you do to improve?
Have the longswordsman do it too.
What'd you say?
Have the longswordsman do it too. The guy in the white shirt. He was doing it with his weapon, but his body, because he was so rigid in the techniques, was not moving nearly as much as literally every other fight was.
I think that's a tough one, right?
Slow them down
Slow them down.
so
Okay.
you can appreciate each move a bit more.
Is there a mechanic you would use to do that? Because there's a secret to how they go fast. And and I don't know if any of you caught it.
Sped camera.
No,
No. Okay.
no, they have a secret to how they go that fast. I'll teach it to you.
Oh
It's a simple
god.
technique.
Oh no.
Grab-
Crap swords.
Well, I was gonna grab swords. Hey, there's swords on the ground. I'm grabbing these.
Are we all just desensitized to hearing that?
No, I sat there like, I didn't hear shit.
Okay. So they do use a technique, and I'm going to show you what that technique is. And Miranda, come up.
Wait, did you say Miranda or Brandon?
Miranda.
Oh.
Yeah, Gerald.
So Miranda's going to do. Miranda's not going to use a quality line on these cuts, just to demonstrate something, because it's going to be easier for me to do it without.
Okay,
having
do it fast.
practice.
I'll
So
do it comes natural.
what you're going to do is you're going to go cut one, cut two, like that, right? All right, go ahead and do that.
Oh.
Do it again. it, but I don't know if anybody caught it.
You're like intercepting the weapon before the cut completes.
Yes. So what they do when they parry is they don't parry on their sides, hardly ever. When they parry as a person's attacking, they catch the weapon out in front, so the weapons make contact quicker. And so it makes them look faster. They also use a different thing, a weapon rhythm, which I'll teach about earlier. But all of their parries, if you watch them now, they're catching them out in front of themselves to make the weapons look faster. So if you have something and you're like, I really want this to look faster, that's what they're doing. They're catching the weapons early. Yeah.
And then considering buying new weapons tuner.
Yeah. Now you can still do that and have good lines. They had good lines. I just don't have enough space, and I'm like, I don't want to stab my computer and do all that stuff. But you can do it where you create really fast wrist work and have your partner catch the blades out in front of you the entire time and then stab. You can do that. It's not that hard to do. But that's how they do that. So, thank you. I got a question for you. Were there moments like the fights started all feeling like they were the same fights?
In that video?
Yes.
Yeah. Same guards used pretty much the duration.
Why?
Historical precedent.
What's that?
Historical precedent. I mean,
As far as our training, what do you think that you could have had those fighters do different to make them not all look the same?
Is that like the time when all the fights were the same?
Yeah, most of their stuff is really what's called quick beat, which they do not
Have somebody shorten their stance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have people shorten their stances and expand their stances to make it a little different.
Yeah.
You can definitely do that.
I feel like it's explosive the entire time, most
Yeah.
of the time. You
Yeah.
know, like you're not creating like little moments of lull. You're just following a really, really precise rhythm and pattern. You know,
Yeah.
of just fast and go. But like it doesn't have like little weaker moments to kind of get you to appreciate all of the explosive movements. You know, because you're just overloaded with those.
Yeah, there's no downtime.
Totally
Yeah.
the same.
So what I'm hearing is there's no time for you to enjoy some of the basic techniques. It's only the flashy ones.
It's all peaks, no valleys.
Yeah, they do the Jet Li, where you can't start at a 9 and then stay at a 9 the whole time, because then no one appreciates you being a 9. You have
Yeah.
to drop yourself down a little bit and then go back up to a 9. Like, yeah, hills and valleys.
Yep.
Yeah, like it kind of felt exhausting to watch because I didn't know what part to watch. Because there was so much movement constantly, like almost capturing too much space the entire time.
So in the fight choreography world, we call that using the magic trick. The magic trick is I'm using a sleight of hand so you can't tell what I'm doing. In stage combat, we go super fast so you cannot tell what I'm doing. You can't tell that the cuts weren't there, or they weren't going to hit, or anything like that. And if I go fast enough, you're not going to see it. And you're going to be like, whoa, what just happened? And you'll learn later on there's an emotional connection piece called surprise, where something like that, if you've never seen it before, the first time you see it, it just pulled the magic trick on you, where you're like, what just happened? Holy shit, that was amazing, because I don't know what happened. So there are times that you can use the illusion of speed to create the magic trick. But as you can see, you don't want to do it too much. Because if you do it a lot, and you do it with all of your fights, it'll all start blending and looking the same. And there are people that don't enjoy those kind of fights. They want to enjoy different types of fights, and we're a variety show. I find that this group really appeals to people that love reality type fighting. Mainly because of the speed, and because of the stances, and the disarms, and the thrusts, and the attacks and stuff. Anything else that you guys have changed with those? Did you like their shapes and lines?
Yes.
Actually, yeah. There was one at the very end. It was like the third fight from the end, where everybody got into a parry and a strike at the same time, and they made this perfect square in the negative space between both fighters. And I was like, oh, like that was really nice. And they let it hold for a brief second, just enough to register that it was a square, and it was just, that was really nice.
Did you see how long their thrust kills were?
Yeah, like they let it breathe.
How much space they captured, and how much of a line they created when they did it, to really emphasize that kill.
Like
Yeah.
aim, point your, like they're pointing your view there. Look here, this is where the strike is here.
I call it screaming at the audience.
Yeah.
I'm killing this person here!
Yeah.
So the audience knows, without a doubt, where I just attacked. And scream at the audience with your technique, yeah. Any questions so far? No? All right. So far, everybody enjoying what I'm teaching, showing? Blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going. This is moving fast.
I should slow down and let it breathe.
Nah, I don't think so.
Just start doing burpees.
He's at a 9. You can't tell him to bring it down.
Sight lines allow audience to digest action and actors to hide attacks and make contact. So, a sight line, let's say I have you. Come up here. What's your name?
I'm Nicholas.
Nicholas. I'm Allan. Nice to meet you. All right, Nicholas, you're just going to stand right there.
Okay.
All right, Caleb, stand behind Nicholas. I want you standing right here. Nicholas and Caleb. Caleb, I want you to shoot Nicholas a bird behind his back, but I don't want to be able to see it.
Shoot a what?
A bird.
Behind the back?
Yeah, flip them off. Okay. How many of you can see that? No. I couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. Nicholas, step forward. Shoot him a bird again. How many of you can see that? Caleb, will you aim them this way? Now shoot him a bird. How many of you can see that? Pretty much everybody. That's a sight line. All right? What does that mean for action? Go. Thank you, Caleb. Nicholas? Okay. All right. So when me and Nicholas are fighting, and we're doing sword work, and we want someone to see our shapes that we're creating with our feet, with our weapons, with our hands when we paint, we want them to see the lines that happen. What we want to have is a space between us that a truck can drive through. Because if I get really close to you when I'm doing this, unless I use an angle, and if I move straight at you, it's hard for me to create a pretty line. So if I move straight at you, it's hard for me to create a straight line without hitting you. Right? So if I'm going to engage you at a closer range, I have to use an angle. I have to move offline to attack and create an angle so that I can create a straight line. The more we want people to see our action, the more the sight line in the middle has to be bigger. When the sight line shrinks, and as it's shrinking, as you can see from the people that participated, the less audience can see the weapon work, the less they can see your hands, the less they can see your chest, the less they can see less of you. Okay? So if we're fighting like this, let's just pretend fighting. We're fighting. There are some of you that can't see what me and Nicholas are doing right now. Right? Okay? So if me and Nicholas create space for you to see that, we're like, we want to make sure you can see the space. And we're fighting out here so that you can see the space. Okay? We're making sure every audience member can see.
Yeah.
A couple of key things.
I'm gonna see that now real easy.
Yes. We'll get to that part. So that's on weapon work. You want to create open sight lines for your audience to be able to see things. Closing your frame off towards each other when you fight, like this, can close off sight lines as well. So what I always recommend, and you'll do the same thing, Nicholas, is you want to pivot to the outside where you have an open frame when we fight, so that more audiences can see what we're doing. And when I attack or when I move, if I know something as simple as my shoulder here is blocking, okay? When I do this attack, instead of me just doing this, I'm going to move this shoulder out of the way so the audience can see it. I'm going to be conscious of all my sight lines and my parts of my body that are blocking audience members to be able to see what I'm doing. Because I'm vain and I want them to be able to see everything that I'm doing. Everything. Down to my toes looking in my shoes. Now let's talk about the other sight line. Sight lines where we close sight lines. Anybody know when we close sight lines?
Unarmed.
What's that?
Unarmed.
Unarmed. Yeah. Why do we close sight lines on an unarmed attack?
Because you gotta touch the person?
Because you got to what?
Touch the person.
Sure. But what about for the audience? Why should the audience care whether we close the sight line or not?
Nah, just empty grabs, all the stuff we're trying to hide behind the curtain.
We're trying to do what?
Hide behind the curtain.
Hide behind the curtain. Come on.
Switch
Well, don't, wait a little bit, he's gonna call on you to again now.
So I'm going to do a punch, and I'm going to use the worst possible sight line. Right in front of you guys.
Oh, that was
Worst possible sight line. Because some of you are going to see that I'm going over the shoulder, or that he's turning and I'm not getting close to him. Now, there's something I can do to try and make it more difficult for you to see that. And I just talked about it in the last video. What is it called?
capturing space.
The
Lines and shapes.
magic
Oh,
Trick.
The magic trick. So what is the magic trick like? Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go right there, and it's going to be fast. You're going to have to react fast, right? All right. Magic trick. If my sight line sucks ass, use the magic trick. Just make sure that your partner trusts you, and that you have a very good, experienced person that can get to that target quick.
Is that what you were talking about in that video, that they were
Yes,
so quick?
they were using the magic trick. They were using speed to hide so you couldn't see that they were using shit blocks. Those blocks were like, you would break through those guards so easy. If someone did this with their sword, you're like, oh, heard of a coupe? You're dead. Never extend your blade to parry. Okay. Now let's talk about hiding sight lines. So now that I know where my sight lines are, I can think about how I want to hide them. Which shoulder should I punch over to hide the sight line?
Very left.
Okay. All right. So I should punch over. So I'm going to punch over the left shoulder, back up a little bit. If you can see it, and you see that I missed, I want you to tell me. Okay. Ready?
Am I reacting?
Yeah. Ready? You're going to react. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. Okay. Choreographers. What the hell can I do now? I used a good sight line. What the fuck am I going to do now?
Lock theirs with your own body.
Block theirs with my own body. Okay, so you're saying how? Can you tell me how?
Take an angle, like a step out. And
This
then,
way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then step back in on the hip, just enough to where your body is in front
Like
of your
this?
fist. Yeah.
Okay. See if anybody can see it.
Yeah.
That's a lot. How do we hide the sight line from them now? Yeah, you're getting it now. I'm really gonna cheat. Barely though, right?
We got the golden
Yeah.
angle over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look good from here.
Yeah. So that's what a sight line is. A sight line is knowing where your audience is positioned and thinking about the position of the attack, where it's coming in at. And here's something crazy I'm going to show you. What if I started this way and then punched over the shoulder that way and collapsed the person and they spun out and landed?
What?
I need an experienced person.
What if? Join us next time.
So as I come in, I'm going to come in this way, and I'm going to punch at an angle down that way. So I'm punching down at an angle this way.
God.
Get a concussion on the knee.
Yeah. So did anybody see that one? Not make contact yet. You have a good angle for it. Yeah. But you saw what I did there. Now I did something called moving the action. Instead of us doing the static thing that we've always been taught, step one, prepare, look, target, put your fist back, step, extend, punch. Now what I did is I called make the bow. Now we're going to move the action. We're going to move it. So I know where my target is. I'm an experienced fighter. You should be doing this with your experienced fighters. So now I'm going to move knowing where my audience is. I'm going to move in. As I move and I see him here, I'm going to be trying to hit here. And as I do this, and I know that's my other angle, I'm going to hit that way. So I'm creating a nasty angle. And the punch, why did it look more vicious than the others?
Driving down through it.
Yeah, it looked, I was moving through it and driving down. You know what else it did? It created a shape.
Bend the line.
Yeah, it started as a pretty line, ended as a shape, and I was capturing shit tons of space when I did it. Okay? So that's something you can do in your arm. Don't think of, you give, I give, you give, I give. Think more of how you can maneuver around a attack these places that you've been trained to hit from different angles. And as you're crossing the plane where you want to be, then change on the plane cross for dynamic movement. Boom! So it's a very different way of looking at chopping off sight lines, making sight lines when it comes to unarmed. Now, there are a lot of shots that happen in front of people. Well, you'll see a lot of stomach punches where the stomach punch lands like this, right? And you can clearly see. Are there times that you can make contact with someone?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. Tell me when.
If your partner consents to contact and you are comfortable making that contact and you're both experienced enough to make that contact, that's usually the pretty good time to be like, yeah, just throw.
Let's see. All right. So has anybody ever heard grab the nickels?
What?
Grab the nickels?
I heard you say that.
TJ, come on up. This is an old man thing. Come here.
Oh my God.
So grabbing the nickels is when you do a stomach punch, you start with your hand open, and as you come in, you grab the nickels.
Yeah.
Is what that move is.
I heard it snatching pebbles.
Snatching pebbles, grabbing the nickels. There's a lot of other things you could call it.
Just don't
All
grab
right.
the
Yes, you're
nipples.
right.
Thanks. My take notes.
So yes, there are times whenever if your sight lines are such crap, you really don't have any way out of it, that you're like, holy crap, we're going to have to use some contact. But one thing I will tell you with your sight lines, when it's weapon work, think of are they creating space and are they getting their shoulders and hips out of the way on the contact so the audience can see more of the action. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is on your sight lines, on your unarmed contact, what happens is we write fights and we write them in a bubble. Like, oh, let's write that. Woo! And then you go out like, look at this cool move, bam! So Brandy's like,
Stop
bad.
recording my
Yeah, me
Saturday
too. And we chest bump, and the crowd goes wild. And then we perform it in front of people. And we never thought about our sight lines, ever. And we do our fight, and people are like, I saw that punch. Because we don't consider our sight lines. So one of the things you need to do whenever you have a fight, whether you're performing in front of people by saying, hey, we just need you to look at our fight and tell us if we're doing things right. Think about where your unarmed is. Where are my sight lines? So that when you're performing in front of me, even if it's like a director and a fight choreographer or whoever's watching it, that they cannot see because you blocked the sight line to the unarmed. They can see the action coming, but the hit that you don't want them to see that didn't land, you cut it off in the last second, so your body cuts off their sight line. And what you may have to do, these guilders, you can't answer this, what is something you can do before your fight starts to ensure your sight lines are good?
Outside us.
That's a trick question, I think. No, it's not. It's not a trick question. It's a fine question to ask. Yeah, because I'm leading this class, so it makes it a fine question. Damn it. I don't know.
Adjust your position before you start.
Yes! High five, Caleb.
Yay.
Everybody give Caleb a round of applause.
Oh.
Yes!
Good job, Caleb.
So if I know my sight line sucks ass because, yes.
I was just gonna say when we're presenting our fights, I always tell my fight partner, no wait, stand there to start it.
Yes.
No,
So that's what you do.
over.
You
They're
stand
over
there
there.
like,
Wait,
yeah, perfect.
they're over there.
my
switch
stomach
sides.
punch lands right here. Hey, let's start the fight over here.
I know. And it's always the foot hop. It's never just walking over.
It is always the foot hop.
You don't
That's how I
lose
know
your
when
ready
people are trying to
stance.
cover a sight line and these go right before they fight, they go.
I mean, and if you're fighting in a stage, an arena, whatever that you have fought in before,
Yeah.
then as you're getting with your partner at the beginning of rehearsal, you can start to map out, okay, I know the king is going to be sitting on a dais there,
Yep.
and I know there's going to be like the people in the shade over here, and then the people roasting in the cheap seats over here, fuck
Yeah.
them. But like, but you can start to, as you're working with your fight partner from the beginning of rehearsal, keep that in mind if you've used that space previously.
All chessboards have one area that does not have audience members. Anybody know what it is?
The entrance.
The curtain room.
Anybody else?
The entry point.
Yeah. The stage behind you.
Yeah.
For you guys, it's where you come out of.
Yeah.
There's no patrons back
Point of
there,
entry.
right? So
Hopefully.
that's an area
Yeah,
if you
on a
lean
good day.
toward hiding your attacks,
I
they
do.
can't see it.
So like with the chess match at Barth, they will have patrons
7
as
o'clock,
pieces
stumble back like that.
standing in front of the dais. So where it normally would have just been Gary Connor and some other people, now you have patrons that have never seen the show before.
Oh.
If you have a 360, there's only one way you can really cover a sightline, and I showed it to you earlier. It's movement. That your
Yeah.
attacks take on multiple planes of movement and shifting, and you're blocking as much as possible.
So you change the line and the shape
Yes,
in your attack.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So that you can cut off sight lines so they can't see the action. Because otherwise, you're going to see the fist going over the shoulder. If the fist is going over the shoulder and then curves down, you're cutting off a sight line with that. Because your forearm is now blocking right back here. You can't see the miss because you're covering it with body parts. There's a really cheap way you can use to cover any sight line. And it doesn't matter what stage you're in. I could be fighting right
You don't have to
here
get up anymore.
with someone for you guys as my audience. If I use this technique and I can punch them right here when they're in front of me, you cannot see it. Do you know what it is?
It's a technique.
Nope, it's a cloak.
I was gonna say a shield.
A cloak or a shield.
Yeah.
If you're fighting shield and sword, you're a cheating ass bastard. Because you've got a sight line that you can block every time. It's like, I'm gonna pummel strike you. Oh, you didn't see that? You totally saw that I was heading towards the face though, but it disappeared into my shield. Yes.
It's not cheating, it's
Are you looking
Hitchcockian.
at
Yes.
It's Hitchcockian. Your mind fills in the blank.
Do any of you
You're
fight
an
with cloaks on
artiste.
the board?
Huh?
Not
Anybody
today.
fight with cloaks on the board?
Yes.
Half cloaks? Shields? There's a multitude of things you can use to cut off sight lines.
Look, I'm slow, okay?
Yeah. You can block a sword blow, and then your shield travels the sight line by the face as you punch with your sword to block off the sight line.
Not if you use your shield punch.
Yeah, not if you use your shield punch, but let's say
You
they
use your
attack
sword to block off
you,
the
and you're
sight line.
blocking the sword and getting out of the way so you can pommel punch. Boom! And your shield now just blocked that area. But the audience saw it traveling through, it disappeared, and the magic trick occurred. Boom! I heard sound. The person just went, ah, whatever they did. That's how I react whenever I get hit.
Spit dripping off the end of the tongue.
Is that one of the slides, learning how to...
Yeah, I have that on. It's called learning.
That's why our son's workshop she wants
You
to do.
spelled it.
It's spelled that.
It's spelled, ugh.
It's spelled out. What's that?
All right.
LB,
questions so
LB,
far?
LBP.
Yes.
Okay, so in your honest opinion, what do you think is a realistic percentage of your audience that you can fool when you are performing in the round 360 and your crowd is elevated? What is the best that you can hope for? Is it actually possible to fool 100% of the
Yes.
people in the seats?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If I have two shields, it's easy. Piece of cake. If I'm fighting sword and cloak, piece of cake all day.
See that?
Okay.
I have a fucking curtain I'm fighting with. You ain't seen shit.
All right.
Because I've always just been under the impression that like you have to sort of sacrifice.
A portion
Right.
of that, yeah.
And it's not always the same portion,
Yeah,
but
you're
like
sacrificing
I'm gonna
everything.
let this portion of the audience see this great hit, but
Yeah.
they're gonna see that it's
You don't
not
have
real, and then
Nope, you don't have to.
okay.
Unless you want them to see the hit because you're landing contact. If you're landing contact, then your sight line has to change because you want them to see that you make contact.
Sure,
But
but
we don't want
barring,
to see them, we don't want to use pommels to the face contact.
Right.
barring
Sorry,
hope-
Tim, I have to do this for the audience.
Barring
and your shield, can you 100% get an elevated theater in the round?
Fooled 100%. Like,
That's what I mean.
yeah, without assistance, yeah.
So,
No shield, no cloak.
I hate saying
You might be
100% on
naked.
anything because it's kind of ridiculous to say 100% on anything.
Yeah, that's what I've just always been
But can
taught.
you decrease the percentages dramatically? Absolutely.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes. We're always going for the lowest
Yes.
percentage.
Changing shapes, lines, and movement, of how you're moving and circling your partner as you're doing any type of attacks like that?
Okay.
Absolutely.
I love the idea
Do
of
it.
changing the line of the
Yes.
shape.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can look
I like
at
the
that,
shape.
and next
I like
time
the
you put
shape.
it on film, the easiest thing, if you want to know if you can hide it, is say, I need all of you in a circle. We're going to do a move. Tell me if it's obvious you saw what I just did. And if none of them says it was obvious, and they're 10 feet away from you, you're golden.
Okay, great.
That's the easiest way to do it. What else? Anybody got anything else on site?
Be a shapeshifter.
Be a shapeshifter. Sightlines are important, especially in weapons. We don't want to close off when we're attacking. We want to open up our body and make sure that people can see as much of our body as possible. Make sense? Okay. Okay. Thoughts? Yeah. Okay.
Good foot stance.
Good, yeah.
Good foot spacing? You like the foot spacing?
I thought they did a good job of capturing space. I saw a lot of intent and movement
Good.
with it. I didn't see a lot of leveling.
Not a lot of level changes, no. No.
They use, I mean, because of camera, but like they use sight lines to cover like how some of those thrusts were in distance but offline. So it still looked like it could have stabbed them, even though it never would have.
Did they give enough room between themselves so that you could see the weapons doing their work?
Kind of. Kind of.
Kind of.
So the thing that always bothers me about this fight, because I've watched this one a few times, is I feel like the person with the lighter colored clothing, they need about a half-pound lighter weapon. Because I feel like they're fighting the weapon, their own weapon, more than they are fighting their opponents. Like I feel like their momentum keeps catching on themselves. And it's most evident, there's a strike that they come up and they block it here before they twist out. But you can see it's not coming up with the arms, it's coming up with the shoulders and the back. Like there's very much a strain there and it slows the whole fight down. I would, like for me, that fight would be a lot better if she was using a half a pound less of a blade.
I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
Come on.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to stand right here, Tim.
Okay.
You know pass forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to start with your left foot forward.
Okay.
And then all we're going to do is we're going to keep our shoulders square to each other.
Okay.
Okay? And you're just going to pass forward, and I'm going to pass back, and I'm going to say stop. Okay. Ready? Go. Back up. All right. So that doesn't allow the greatest of sight lines because once Tim passes a couple of you, you're not going to be able to see his wrists, his action, and everything. So we're going to do something goofy, Tim.
I'm down for goofy.
So this time when I pass,
Okay.
I'm going to pass and lean this way. You're going to lean that way. When I pass back, I'm going to lean this way. You're going to lean that way.
Okay.
We're going to go slow.
Okay, so you're going that way first?
Yep, and you're going the opposite.
Got
way.
it.
Ready? Go.
Yep.
You see how we're now creating angles for sight lines? So that you can see more and do more? So that's just a little something I wanted to show you guys is how we create sight lines by you moving offline, creating angles with your body opens up sight lines for people to be able to see.
Yeah.
Because once Tim gets to this point here, Nicholas can no longer see Tim's front. But if Tim starts shifting and giving you sight lines, because he's showing sight lines, then you can see more. And frankly, it's more interesting to look at.
Jackie Chan.
Slot cars.
Yeah, when we're just walking towards each other like this and fighting, not a lot's happening. But we're moving at angles and shifting our shoulders and our hips to do attacks and movement. Now we're trying to get angles to the audience to be able to see through.
Yeah.
Pass it. Sight lines can change. And you can give audiences what you want them to see. You can hide what you don't want them to see by shifting your body and changing it and stuff. All right. Any questions? Any more comments on this fight?
There
Yeah,
was
Nicholas.
points when the camera was directly behind the person in the lighter color where I felt like there was a really quick exchange, but I couldn't see it. It just made sound.
That's why I did that drill. And the reason it happened and why you couldn't see it is because they were walking straight at each other with their shoulders forward the whole time.
Right.
And they didn't create a sight line for you able to see past the act, see past their body, shifted their body outside so you can go, oh, here's my weapon that you can see doing this attack.
Because otherwise,
When their body is shaped is in like this and you're in a back view, you cannot see the weapon. if you're behind them. So I want to create that sight line so everybody can see it. I'm trying to give every audience member an option to be able to see it. So I'm like, hey, can you see? Hey. So when I'm fighting, and I know I'm behind, you're behind me, as I'm going to defend, I don't want to do this. Because you can't see it, Brandon.
No.
So when I defend, I want to defend like this. So now you can see it. I'm like, hey, can you see that? I'm thinking, audience, am I showing that to you? So that you can see it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep.
Sight line. Okay. How much time do we have? We done at 4?
40 minutes.
4:30.
Oh, we're done at 4:30? So if we get out early, we're good. We're okay.
40 minutes, all.
40 minutes.
How much time is it again?
Weapon rhythms subvert expectations and help create differences in choreography. I'm going to need weapons for this. Swords.
We can do worlds, Tom.
I've been trying to hit this one home all season.
You said that with the look of someone who is the current.
No, because Brandon gave me a look.
Oh.
It's just one that we.
TJ,
Yes, sir.
come on. Price is right.
Oh, I'm not being sight line. I'm just gonna make my.
Did you hear the sound?
Okay.
Oh, getting in and out of the car.
Okay.
So, you're the kind of guy Russell comes up and asks if you need help today, sir, for his wilderness explorer bag.
Absolutely. Somebody at Walmart the other day wished me a happy Father's Day. Kind of a fun kid.
You have feet.
Well, that'd be grandparents' day.
All right.
Be grandparents.
What is a weapon rhythm? If you're not a Gilder, and I'm not taught this to you, we weren't in my last class. Anybody know what a weapon rhythm is?
No.
The tempo of the contact of the blades.
In a way, yeah. So there are 3 rhythms that you can use. In that one video where the guys were fighting really fast, they were using something called a speed rhythm. A speed rhythm is I'm here. Before my body does anything, my weapon moves. That's a speed rhythm. And then my body follows that. So speed rhythm is I move, follow behind. Okay? Not many people use speed rhythms. Almost everybody uses exclusively what I'm going to show you next. Balance rhythm. What is a balance rhythm?
Boring.
A balance rhythm, no. A balance rhythm is when my body and my weapon move together. It's a balance rhythm. The reason that the majority of us use balance rhythms is because it gets us in balance and it's comfortable. It's much harder to attack and then follow than it is to step and hold yourself in balance because now I feel in control. Okay? That's a balance rhythm. Okay? The final rhythm is a power rhythm. A power rhythm is my body moves, my weapon doesn't move at all. And then my weapon follows. That shows power. Why? Because when we step up to hit somebody, what do? We step, create this coil, unwind to strike. Okay? It's a power rhythm. So, what you have to do in your choreography, in your advanced choreography, when you're looking at your own fights or other people's fights, is you have to say, are they using the same exact rhythm through the whole fight? 95% of the time, the answer is yes. They're almost always using a balance rhythm. So what you have to decide is, this is a little more advanced choreography, is you have to say, how can I break up the rhythms or change the rhythms within the fight to make it a little bit more interesting? Let's say I do a speed rhythm by attacking, you parry, and now you're going to do a balance rhythm, stepping and attacking at the same time on this side.
Okay.
Nice and slow. So I start. Although step forward when you do it. So, speed rhythm here. All right, let's do it again. Speed rhythm. Okay. Now we're going to do a power rhythm after that. 3 basic cuts. So the first cut, same thing here. Attack. Here. Now I'm going to power rhythm. No, I need to step on it. One more time. Like that. There's no else. Just move that chair then. This is Sparta. So here, balance rhythm, boom, power rhythm. Yeah. Do you see how the rhythms changed what was happening in the fight, almost told a story like that. Yes,
Are rhythms just for offense, or can you use them defensively?
absolutely use them defensively. Was there a video where they used a speed rhythm parry? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, I couldn't see it.
The Ardoria guys, they use speed rhythm parries. A speed rhythm parry is you go to attack here, and I descend with my blade before my guest turn. Speed rhythm. A balance rhythm parry is you attack here, and I step, and my blade parries at the same time my foot lands. A power one is I step and block. Yeah.
I do like power rhythm defenses for getting rid of, or for parry and thrust, because it's like, woo, let me get my shoulder out of the way, then let's give,
Yeah.
then let's give some cheering.
If you're fighting someone whose tempo doesn't match yours and their tempo tends to be slower, using power rhythms can save you a lot because it slows you down when you use power rhythms. The speed is the fastest, balance is medium, power is the slowest. But those are rhythms. All right? Yes, question.
Speed rhythms are something that someone would use in more of like either a comedy fight or to show like the weapon is a lot heavier than they're used to, of like having to really wind it up first. Kind of thing.
That sounds like
That
a power
sounds like a
rhythm.
power rhythm.
Okay,
Because the idea behind a speed rhythm
yeah,
is your weapon moves before your body does. So if you're right here, your weapon moves to the target, and then your body follows.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
It
A
reminds me.
power rhythm is a big wind up. Your body gets in the position you want it to be in, and then you swing.
Gotcha,
It
okay.
reminds me of your fight with Eddie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I mean, I can't think of a bigger wind-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went all around France with
Yeah.
that one.
Okay.
I would say, think about, here's a little thing you can do to kind of get used to working with the different rhythms, is ride a fight in one rhythm. Decide this fight is going to have all speed rhythm. Both parries and defenses are going to be all speed rhythm. I'm going to defend out in front of myself before my body moves to shift my weight in. I'm going to attack, and then my weapon's going to follow. Ride a fight that way. And then write one in balance. And then write one in power. And you'll feel the differences that those rhythms can help you tell story within a fight. It can help show things that you want it to show. Most people that you get that are brand new, 1, 2, 3 years, are almost exclusively going to fight in a balance rhythm. Unless they have rapier training or saber fighting or Hema. Hema fights almost exclusively in speed rhythm.
Really, I was taught the bit I did was taught in balance.
No, they do this. When I see your foot moving and your weapon hasn't moved yet, you've telegraphed. So in real fighting, you don't want to know what's going to happen with my weapon. So boom, I'm going to hit you when you move. And you go fight.
So speed, weapon moves before body.
Yep.
Balanced, weapon and body move together.
Yep.
Power, body moves before weapon.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Baseball bat.
Okay, so I got kind of like a weird question on that. I like seeing it a lot, especially with small sword fights, where usually, like as a person, you can move your hands quicker than you can move your feet.
Right.
So if there's going to be two people in a small sword fight, you can move those swords, pretty quick.
Yeah.
So you will be moving your swords, clack, 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 while your feet are moving slower, or vice versa. If someone's really on the backup, they might be doing like a little bit of like a back skidder to where they're taking 8 or 9 steps, but they're only blocking 3 or 4 strikes. Does that still count as power rhythm? Because the body is moving before the weapon?
If your body moves to set up the attack.
I think it's more.
Okay.
If my body moves and the point of the movement is to set up the attack and distribute the energy, it's a power rhythm.
Okay.
Right, okay,
If I'm moving and I can't set up an attack and I'm defending,
Right.
sure.
that's not a power rhythm.
Okay.
Would it be better to think of it more like footwork and then, like, rather than just body movement? Because, like, if you're doing like a double pass, then like you can take 2 or more steps before defending and still have it be speed rhythm.
Good. Here's an interesting thing about court sword. So one of the big problems with court sword is that the weapon moves faster than the feet, correct? How can you speed up your feet? It's the very first thing you know.
Yeah. Foot
Foot
spacing.
spacing.
Foot spacing. Why? If I have wide foot spacing when I'm doing small court sword, I can do little advances and stuff, but I can't move my feet that much. But if my feet are close together when I'm doing this, now my feet can move just as fast as my hands can. And when I filmed a lot of court sword or something like that, I would always make them have much smaller foot spacing so that they can move their feet in sharp, quick little steps and link with their quick hand and wrist work with their leg.
And then put them in close so you can't see them.
Yeah, you put them in close.
Well, I was thinking of that final fight from Rob Roy with that
Oh, yeah.
small sword little son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of his, he's wearing these heels, and a lot of it on the cobblestone was very short steps until he wanted to be pompous, wanted to show off, and then he's, you know,
Yeah.
ha, and walking away.
Or farming like a bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can also use small foot spacing to set up a giant foot spacing attack. Meaning I can start out like this, and we start a fight like this, and now I move and attack. So you can do that. So you can start, and you can look at people and go, if they're fighting like this, ha! And you kill the person. You might go, why don't you try a smaller foot spacing on your way there, and when you execute the technique, space your feet wide.
I love it. It reminds me of like basketball,
Yes.
you know, going up or
I don't know what that is.
no, but I think it shows. How are we talking about foot spacing? Can show like intent
Yes.
earlier.
Yep.
You do those choppy little steps going in, and it almost, you know, it'll probably bring everybody in the audience's mind to like a fencing match where they're.
Yes. Yep. You can do it with long swords too. You can have short, quick footwork that transitions
Sure,
into big
sure.
movement where you're fighting with long.
The short, choppy footwork to me shows
You
like
can also throw in that
hesitation,
shit where you're like this when you're moving. But yeah, the foot spacing will.
trepidation.
Yeah, you can tell stories with the spacing on the feet. It really adds a lot to it. All right, so we're gonna watch a fight that uses every type of weapon rhythm in a fight. It's very rare that I see that. Almost all fights that I see, they have one type of weapon rhythm through the whole fight. Like the Ardoria guys, speed rhythm the entire fight. There's nothing else.
If I pick up one of the big axes, I am power rhythm the entire time.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Level change. See the change in tempo there? Speed up, slow down, power rhythm. That should have cut him in half, but okay.
Oh, it's a pommel.
Funny,
the hand.
He was wearing armor.
TJ, it's two blades, there's no
Plot
problem.
armor.
It's in the middle. It's
It's
in the
in the
middle.
middle.
There's two
It's a
pommels.
mid-pommel.
It's a mid
It's a
pommel.
middle,
Yeah.
Level
The
change.
model.
the model.
Power.
How interesting that fight is, and look how long it's gone on. Just because of rhythm changes.
And then they just wave at each other.
Let's level change again.
It's like PTSD.
Nice tension building.
These guys worked so hard, and look how empty this thing is.
I know.
Is he holding the blade?
It's great model.
He's close, so it's okay.
Okay, I thought I saw.
It's just the edge of the model.
Yeah.
Those hands are so close to the edge.
So you guys, they aren't actually
I love
Great
that
talk
scorpion
about that.
stab up top.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
the lightsabers won't get.
Power.
Yep.
Oh gosh, wait, but who's the Jedi? Who's the Sith?
Bad guy
Just
was.
walked by.
Hey, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Wrong
Yeah,
person.
that's great.
Just wearing the best guard.
So what did you guys think?
That was entertaining. Best guard bumps, yeah.
Did you see the weapon rhythm changes in there?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Alright.
Best guard chainmail.
What it did as well is weapon rhythm changes can also make your phrases distinct. Meaning, let's say you have a fight that has 3 phrases. You have a fight, 8-10 moves, boom, there's a phrase break. You pace, you're rebuilding tension, talking shit, whatever you're doing.
It's over Anakin.
Yeah. Hello again. Alright. You come in, you're doing the second part. I hate you! And all of a sudden, the first part was all speed rhythm, now the second part is balance. And it may be something that you said right before the phrase started that changed the thought or the pattern behind it. Yeah.
I think you're evil.
Alright, whatever it is. But that's what it can do. It can really add layers and textures to what you have. It can really help create differences in choreography. When you're trying to place fights on a board, and they all use the same weapon rhythm, and they all use the same footwork, and they all look the same, except for one cool move that everybody else has in their fights. That's it. The rest of it all looks the same.
Murder stroke. And murder stroke. And
Yep.
murder stroke.
Oh, there's the cool move! Yay! Next fight!
What is it?
There's the cool move! Yay!
Mordschlag, Mordschlag,
Third
Mordschlag.
fight! There's the cool move! Yay! So one of the things you can do to break up the choreography is make it to where the weapon rhythms are different. Now the fights don't look the same. Now they look different. You're adding some variety. Because we are in the business of a variety show. Variety show.
Here's the remix.
That's what we do. When we put fights on the board, you're trying to give the audience as much variety as possible so that you're casting a wide net so that you can hit every audience member. So it's not just 5 people who are like, man, I love the realism. And that's what they come for. And that's all you give them. And everybody else is like, I really wanted to see some dialogue and some character development.
No.
Just wasn't that there. And other people are like, I just want to see people beat the shit out of each other. You know, you got different people. So you have to cast a wide net and you have to have variety. It is a variety show.
Alright, get your minute and 30 seconds and nothing else.
Any questions? I'm going to move on to a controversial topic.
Oh, hell yeah.
Use Poland to make sure I can hit every audience member.
Banned.
Weapon patch choices determine speed, danger, intensity, and audience digestion of an attack. This is a big no-no in SAFD. Big. We've never changed weapon path.
We'll never tell any.
Ever. But we just changed weapon path when we cut off the sideline. AFD, you never changed the weapon path. But we completely changed the path of the weapon.
Is that why Marvel fights are boring now?
Depends on which one.
The whole movie is a...
Alright, so let's talk about, I need a weapon. I need a weapon.
In here? I don't know. Just one.
Just
Wait.
So let's talk about something you should never do, and then we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Very controversial. All right, so I prep on a high line. Thrust to a low line. Get out. Just leave. Something we never do. Never do we do that. We never switch that. Or do we?
I said at the end of my class that if it's part of the story.
It's a huge SAFD contention, though, is that you never shift the path of attack. However, here's a way you can do it. Let's say I'm going to stab you in the foot, and I prep my line here. Okay? Or I prep my line here. Oh, look where the blade's pointing. Now I'm following the path. But what happens if I do this crazy shit? Yeah!
Anarchy.
Anarchy.
How do they account for feints? You could argue that the path begins here.
Doesn't sound fun.
Yes. So, when we're dealing with weapon paths, and changing the point of where it goes, the farther a weapon can take to get to its destination, the more interesting it is for an audience. Why? Because it creates shapes, captures space, and it's interesting to look at. Which is more interesting? Yeah! Or, yeah! Second one to watch. Why? Because the weapon took more weapon path. It had bigger weapon path. It was more interesting to look at. There was more movement. Not only that, but it'll create this great word that we all love, flow. Because if we attack, defend, attack, defend, now we don't have a lot to look at. But if we attack, defend, attack, defend, now we've got a lot of interesting movement. We just took 4 basic moves, changed the path of the weapons to get where we wanted them to go. We made something way more interesting. You guys did this in your longsword fight and didn't even mean to do it. Because you were adding flow into your fight, your weapon paths were very interesting to look at. You started one where he had done a move where his sword was down here. Your sword started down here, came all the way over this gorgeous weapon path to block his weapon so he couldn't bring it back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one move where you started this way, swung in, changed a level, body slashed, and ended way over here. Because you had this gorgeous big weapon path. It was beautiful to watch.
Thank you.
Yes. So weapon path is very important. In thinking about where does my weapon start, where does it end? Also, setting up your weapon paths. If I know I'm defending a 4, and my next cut is going to be a 5, there's 2 ways to do that. I can do the magic trick, which is fun. You just go, boop, aha, bitch, and hit him right in the head. And they just go, oh crap, I have to block, and you have the magic trick. Or you can create a weapon path. Meaning as I parry, now my weapon's coming low, I'm creating a shape, I'm starting to capture space, I'm exploding up, creating a giant big line, trying to open up sight lines to show what I'm doing. Weapon path. But yes, you can start it anywhere, and then bring it around for a decent cue. I will tell you, for first-year people, that could be a little difficult for them. It can be very difficult for them because they're just trying to learn the basics of a basic cut and basic parrying and everything like this. But if you have good fighters that are really good at it, one of the things you can tell them when you're watching their fight, if they understand this concept of weapon path, you can say to TJ on that 4 cut, man, I need a weapon path. I mean, go fucking crazy with your weapon path on 4. He's gonna know what that means. Got it. You give a lot of weapon path. Yeah. Hey, can you give me wider foot space when you do that 4 cut with that weapon path? Weapon path is great. Wider spacing on your feet. And capture more space if you can. Now you have language that you can use, that you can work with. What I tell you is when you're learning this stuff and you're using it and you're applying it, you have to teach the verbiage to the people that you're working with. You have to explain to them what it is. Now, for the first time you're dealing with somebody, you're like, hey Caleb, I want to talk to you about something called weapon path. What weapon path is, point where it starts, point where it ends, okay? So, when you're doing this 4 cut, I want you to start very far away from the destination point as you can so that your weapon has to travel along a gigantic path to finish where it ends. Do that for me. Say, no, you get out of here. I'll kill you. And that's it. Kick out.
And then you have a fight.
You have to work at Burger King.
That's
Sucks. Your life's over. Your wife divorces you. No,
You okay?
yeah.
Blink twice if you're in duress.
The problem with that scenario is at no point did I hear that he took your wallet.
Oh, that's true.
I have honor,
perfectly
man.
good
I
wallet.
have honor, you know?
Yeah, I got bills.
I got
Yeah, and it's a concept that a lot of people will do. Advanced fighters will start using bigger and bigger weapon paths the longer that they do this. You'll start feeling more comfortable and in control of the blades. You're like, I like it when I can throw this blade way out here and do this cool shit. You'll start doing it naturally, but you never attach a name to it so that you can teach it and give it to other fighters that are just coming into this. Or advanced fighters that don't even know it yet.
How does that account for missed opportunities?
What do you mean?
Say your weapon path takes you along an arc that could have been a strike otherwise.
What rhythm are you using?
I guess that's the factors.
It is. Depends on the rhythm you use. If you're using a speed rhythm and you're trying to create the magic trick, then I would tell you don't worry about weapon path in this particular instance. I know what you're trying to create. You're trying to quick 3 moves. But hey, on that 4th, give me a massive weapon path to break it up and make it a power rhythm since you've been using speed.
So even if it would happen to cross their legs and then bring it up for just a huge 5 like that, I could have just swiped the legs. But the power comes from.
Yeah.
gathering it up.
Well, and there's a difference between a power rhythm and a weapon path. Because I can do a speed rhythm in a weapon path. Okay? Or I can do a power rhythm in a weapon path. Yeah! So it depends on what I'm trying to do with that. So when you're looking at it and you're trying to decide, what do I want this fighter to do here? You're looking at the character, you're looking at what the director wants, and you're looking at what the fighter's capable of doing. So a lot of people are capable of doing power rhythms and balance rhythms. They're not always capable of doing speed rhythm. And do you know why? Because they will scattermatch. New people will kill your ass. You got to be careful what you use power.
And then they'll take my wallet.
Yeah. Oh, I just go from point A to point B, oh, and they kill you. So you got to be very careful when you teaching them speed.
Damn, every time.
Yeah, because people like to go ninja speed, and when they start using power rhythms and they're not trained and they don't have control, they're going to scat you.
I definitely almost got hit.
So I'm very selective about who I ask to do that. Yeah.
Could that also be avoided by how your partner is moving? Like, it's not necessarily a missed opportunity if they move their foot or jump back, even though you're technically like, you're going for that overhead, but when they see your sword going low, they move. So it's not necessarily a missed opportunity because of how they reacted to what you
Of course. Yeah, it depends on the choreography and what your partner's
Yeah,
doing.
you change the
100%.
choreography
Yeah.
to either make it a missed move or not.
It could also be, you know, more like a thing, like I want you to be careful,
Yeah.
cautious about down here because I'm really going to try to come up.
It also depends on how much realism you're trying to put in a fight. Because one thing sometimes we do as fight choreographers that can be a mistake. We want all fights to be realistic. No one sits in the stands and goes, I think people are really going to die today. No one does that.
Joke's on them.
They know it's not real. You're not going to fool them. They know it's not fucking real. But there are people that love realism in a fight. And if you can create something that looks real, then some people who come will enjoy that. Other people won't. They just like slapstick, seeing you hit somebody in the junk with your foot and laugh at them with your finger. They love that shit. It really depends on the crowd if you got to throw a big blanket. So if you're trying to create a realistic fight, then yeah, you have to think about my weapon path. Am I having missed opportunities that are not taking into account realistic exchange, historical exchange? It really depends on that. If you are fighting more realistically, you're probably going to fight a lot more in speed rhythms. Because realistically, whoever hits who first wins. And guess how you do that? By going, well, you die.
It's also a great alternative or a great way to like get out of jail when you're dealing with, okay, what do we do from here? Like I know that I sometimes find myself in a position where I'm trying to get from point A to point B, but I don't have, like I can't, my body doesn't move in that way to get there quick enough to handle that attack. But this is a great way to say, hey, give me a wider weapon path. That's a great way to explain that to someone who I'm like, hey, give me more time. What does that mean? Do you need me to take a step back? Do you need me to take a breath? Like, this is a great, like to me, this is a problem solver.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I see this as a
power
problem
rhythm
solver.
or a larger weapon path.
Yeah.
Both of those could fix that problem if you need more
100%.
time because you're in an awkward situation.
Yes, 100%.
Another space that I find having more time or having less time helps a lot, especially, and this weapon path would help a lot, is when it's multi-opponent.
Yes.
Instead of one person just waiting there, waiting for my turn, if they wind up and do this big weapon path that they have, that they can fill their time with before they go to attack, while the other person's finishing up their last move.
Right.
And the defender can.
So here's an easy way to make a 1v3 and make it look realistic. You have the person as the one, use nothing but speed rhythms on attack and defense.
Okay.
And short weapon path. The three, you have them use power rhythms and massive weapon path. Now this person looks like a god. And he's like, and they're like, yeah, yeah! And he's like, toom, 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 toom. And you make them like, holy shit, this guy is amazing. But what the audience doesn't know is you just changed the rhythms. That's all you did. You have one person using a speed rhythm, another person using a power rhythm, and using massive weapon path, and the person with the short weapon path and the speed rhythm is getting to all the attacks. You can have 3 attacks coming at the same time, a beat apart, and because someone's using a speed rhythm, can go boom, 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 and defend all 3. Like an airport. You can have them just a slight beat behind each other. Make the audience go, oh my gosh, their head explodes. explodes. And you're like, oh, let's get this body out of here.
Oh,
This happens a
what
lot.
rhythm is that?
Yeah. Any questions? Put this sword over here. All right, let's watch the weapon path.
It's just a video of weapons walking along a trail.
Casey's seen this one.
Stundo.
These are people using saber rapiers. Which you would
Saber
normally not see
Sapiers.
giant weapon path with, but I found this interesting.
Okay.
Ravers?
Careful.
That was
not.
bad. That's bad. Oh. Nice.
God, they're capturing the shit out of space.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's such a narrow pathway.
What? They are.
A lot of power rhythm. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Great sight lines.
You've got a camera
Yeah, the camera helps.
like sightline is cheated.
Yeah, on unarmed attack, they close the sight line every time. Which if you're doing camera work, you gotta do that.
I really like the Dutch angles every time something happens.
Oh.
Nice.
Damn. Nose dagger. Come on. Use it. Yes. Oh. Yeah. It is. Right. Oh. That's 2 wallets. If you
2 wallets for the cameraman.
My head did explode. So.
They did a good enough job with the different weapon rhythms that I totally believe that it would be a good idea to swing that weapon with 2 hands.
Yeah, like straight out the gate.
That was just an S-Stock, wasn't it?
Like,
What's that?
That was an S-Stock, right? Those are
I
S-Stocks.
couldn't look past that.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like
Swings.
you know how you guys
I
filmed
know, it's so
you guys Brandon and Kate this past year. You guys did a rapier fight with single swords. I feel like that was a fight in reverse. It's like they trained it with broadswords and then swapped it out for rapiers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That was that whole fight. That's that fight in reverse.
Yeah, that was definitely an over-exaggeration of weapon path. I found
For
it finally,
sure.
oh yeah, you're using rapiers with that much weapon path. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll show it to you.
It
Yeah, the
looked fun.
two-handed rapier looks a bit goofy, but some of the giant thrusts they're doing, where they're starting to thrust way back here and coming over with giant arcs,
Yeah.
and the capturing of the
Yeah.
space and the foot spacing is really big. Plenty of level changes.
Well, it was really only prominent to me, at least, when they were both gassed and tired. At least the characters were,
Yeah,
and they were using it just as wild, desperate moves
Yes.
to keep space.
it helped tell that story, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, hey, we're tired right now. I'm using this shit like this,
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, yeah. So that was a good example of weapon path, but it also highlighted. Was there anything you would have done different or added or changed? There are no wrong answers.
Well, everybody's already complained about the
Two-handed.
and that.
How many of you liked the two-handed? It's okay. It's okay. Oh, liked it. Liked it. Yeah. This is what we call an audience. And they will have different opinions on what they like and what they don't like.
I would like seeing just a little more time with more pressure work and envelop phase and reposting, where
Yeah.
the swords are together and you're finding those points of pressure that allow you to go, flat to strong and control the blade, even if
Yep.
it's just for a little longer, because it felt like they were doing a lot of
Glissade work.
little backing off and lots of big passing glances. I would have liked to see the pressure between those 2 blades.
Can you use weapon path when doing that kind of work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and subinations and pronations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can. And capture space. Yeah. Okay, speed up.
Oh,
Good thing.
big 5.
Emotional link. So we have all of this physical stuff that can help us tell a story, that can help us design a fight, that we can give people more. Now we have to use an emotional link. An emotional link could be fear, joy, surprise, laughter, whatever causes an emotion with an audience member. One of the, well, I won't give it away, but an emotional link is how an audience member, after they leave and they go home, remembers your fight. You have a bunch of cool moves, but the emotional link is what really matters. And what is the emotion of surprise? It's the cool move. 5 minutes, thank you. It's the cool move where they're like, whoa, what the fuck was that? And they remember that emotional, because it gives an emotional move. If you did a really cool move and they've seen it 100 times, in 100 chessboards, they're like, that's cool, and they don't care. But if there's a surprise element, if you do something that surprises them, that's emotion. If there's fear, meaning I did a punch on Ashley, it looked so vicious at the first one, and for a moment, just a moment, they almost thought she was hurt, and then it's obvious she wasn't. I've elicited fear. All right? You know? Or you've taken 3 boards to build up a character. They're the person that always gets the crowd rousing going. They go into the crowd and they're like, hey, come on, we're going to win this chessboard.
Yay!
This chessboard.
I can't wait for you to survive.
Yeah.
No,
They do it every time, and they get the 4-3, and the big bad comes out. It just starts. He drags him over the board. You like this guy? You like him? Right? Those people are like, salivating, I'm going to murder you. That's an emotional connection. Now you got anger on your side.
Perry and Chen.
Yeah, that's how you get angry. Laughter is an easy one because you just run a comedic fight. I always try to do fights in our shows that I know I hate, but I know the audience loves.
The hoe fight.
The hoe fight. We in Thieves Guild all hated this
Speak
fight.
for yourself.
It was the stupidest fight.
I did my best to help with that.
But our audience lost their shit and just loved it because I knew that. I know that they like stupid, easy things to follow. So, the hoe fight was people came out with hoes and they're like, my hoe's bigger than yours. Well, I got 2 hoes. What are you gonna do? And I was like, oh, I got this hoe. They just kept talking
It was
about
the
hoes.
hoes telling to
The
not
whole thing. It was so stupid.
That's
At
what
the
you need to sell
end,
tomorrow.
they did a hoedown.
They smacked me in the face. I wasn't in the fight. I got smacked during it, and one of them said, "Hoe down."
Okay.
And then they did a hoedown, and the music came out, and we were all like, "This is so dumb."
And the
And
music
the
was
audience
clapped.
lost
The music
their
was
shit. They
so
were
good.
laughing so hard, and we did it because I knew the audience enjoyed it. So it's an emotional link. So that's one thing when you got a phenomenal fight. I had a pair of fighters. They won best fight, and they had a phenomenal fight. Martin and Jason's fight was amazing. Amazing fight. Wide foot spacing, level changes, giant weapon path, capturing other people's space 16 states down. I mean, they were doing all of it.
Which is impressive.
Had good speed, different rhythms, had everything, but it did not have an emotional link. It was a great fight to look at. Wow! But it didn't leave you with anything. I told him now, like, you gotta develop something. So Jason was like, well, what do I do? He's like, I really want to be hated. So like, but you have to dig dark and deep. You have to say something that's going to piss off the audience. So there's a move where he's fighting Arden. And he just slaps. Bow! And Arden falls down, and he turns to the audience and goes, women, am I right? The audience is just like, people like, they're yelling and everything.
I've
1 minute, all
robbed.
right. Here comes the
Yes!
Yes! Oh, you mean the hero defeats 7 bad guys? Yeah.
You're gonna get through me first. I still want to get through it.
That's fine.
Come on, little mate. Think you're brilliant.
You could feel the emotion in that fight. We don't know, some of you have never seen this show, don't even know who the characters are, but you felt that emotion. So they created an emotional time. They did fear, they did intensity, surprise, they did a whole bunch of different, they added a whole bunch of different emotions to their fight.
So he's obviously a good guy.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you always have to heal.
All right, so this is my process. I go feet first, I look for space and shapes, then I go to the torso and look for sight lines and are they creating volume. Then I look at their weapons. Are they creating lines and they're using a weapon path? Then I ask myself, are they changing levels? Are they using weapon rhythms? And then finally, what emotional ties it together? That's what I do. That's my process. Any questions? For me, 30 years, it took me to come up with this. There is some more things in here, but because of time, I know we don't have time to put it all in here and get it down for you.
Thank you so much.
That's